Hello and welcome back to another Sun Radio session here at the Armadillo Christmas Bazaar. My name is Nakia. I am with Sun Radio. You can hear me on the air most weeknights, every weeknight except for Monday, because we have our Artist in Residence program and the incredible Blue Monday hosted by Mike Buck. I'm on 7 to 11 every other weeknight, except Wednesday I'm on 9 to 11 because we have Texas Radio Live. And we will be announcing a new home for Texas Radio Live coming up real soon, so make sure to stay tuned for that. We are here at the Armadillo Christmas Bazaar. We are super proud to be the official radio station of the Armadillo Christmas Bazaar for now about 10 years. And we are doing these Sun Radio sessions where we are talking to the artisans and the musicians who are part of the fabric of the Austin community and a real big part, obviously, of what happens here at the Armadillo Christmas Bazaar. Today, I'm joined by Tim Doyle, who a lot of people might also know as Nakatomi. And Tim is a poster artist, and I always wondered, do you find offense when people just say poster artist?
No, that's exactly what I
Okay,
mean.
good. Yeah. I've asked that to other people like Guy Juke or Michael Priest. They never seem to have a problem with it. Jim Franklin has a problem with it if I call him a poster artist. Now, before we begin, I just wanted to say, I know you don't remember this, but I actually did a little interview with you once before.
Should I apologize in advance?
No, you should not. Number one, I was about 100 pounds heavier than I am right now, and I look a lot different back then. But I actually met you at an Austin Comic Con many years ago. This was before I was on The Voice, so it would have been probably 2009 or 2010. And I was interviewing you as part of something that I was doing for the Chronicle.
Gotcha.
And I was fascinated. This was the first time I had seen you and your work together. I had seen your things on Mondo and I think here and there.
Right.
But I had never seen you in person, and I was just so fascinated by your incredible art. But I always thought when I saw Nakatomi, there was like a bunch of you doing it, like a collective.
Sure. Well, so with Nakatomi, I started it after, so I ran Mondo for 4 years.
Right.
The first 4 years are in business, and I started Nakatomi. And it was really just me and my wife, and we were just working out of our house, out of our garage. But I had a bunch of other artists I worked with out of state, out of country.
Sure.
A lot of local guys like Todd Slater. And so, it was is kind of a collective. But when I do these art shows like Armadillo or comic conventions, I just bring my work.
Sure.
Because the accounting's easier. I don't have to be like, oh, wait, did I sell one of that guy's prints, one of that? This is just like, well, it's my work. I don't have to worry about records on the back end.
Right, and you've got no shortage of things to bring.
Yeah, so like the display I have here at Armadillo, which is like a 10 by 20 booth, I could easily fill that another 2 times.
Wow.
I just have a huge back catalog of work.
Yeah. And we're going to get into that. I actually want to start at the beginning, though. I know why I love poster art so much, but I'm just curious, how did you get into poster art?
So, like a lot of kids of the 80s grew up comic books, video games, cartoons.
Yeah.
I wanted to draw things. I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to be a comic book artist. And after, spending my whole life drawing instead of studying or passing classes, I moved to Austin in '99, and I started working at Azel Art Supply, which was a art supply store right off the drag there by campus. And I just got exposed to the Austin arts community because it was really the only professional level art store in town at the time.
Yeah, this is before Jerry's had opened.
Right, and before you could buy everything online.
Yeah, of course.
So I got to meet and interact with all these amazing artists who were just coming in to get their supplies every day. And so I started painting bigger and bigger canvases and had some small art shows. And, years pass, I end up running Mondo. And when I first started there were some posters from some old events in the back of the, in the storage area. It's like, where did these come from? How does this happen? How can I do this?
That's cool.
So they kind of put me in touch with the people who had done the posters there previously, guys like Rob Jones, and I think Todd Slater had done one at that point. And I was like, okay, I'm in. How do we do this?
Yeah.
So kind of, built up their poster program. I illustrated a few. They did really well. People bought them. I was like, well, I could possibly make a living doing this and not
Sure.
working for anybody else. And here I am almost 16 years later doing this.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I love that. So let's start with the process of creating the poster. This is also something that's been fascinating me for a while. So you've obviously had the chance to collaborate with some of the world's most well-known properties and franchises. So do you get the call, or do you actively seek out these things at this point? How does it work?
It's a bit of both. When it comes to our music clients, sometimes I'll cold call them.
Sure.
Like I saw that Guided by Voices was going on tour a few years ago. I just sent them an email
Yeah.
and said, I love you guys. I want to do posters.
Yeah.
And they got back to me. Their merchandise people got back to us, and it was great. So then I get to immediately call friends of mine who are also artists. Guys like, I could see him sitting right over there, Dan Grissom.
Dan Grissom, an
Biscuit
incredible
Press.
artist right there, Biscuit Press.
And I could say, hey, you want to do a poster for Guided by Voices? And he'll say, yes. And then, so it's really great. And in that respect, Nakatomi kind of is a collective, a loose confederation of friends and associates like that. But yeah, when it comes to, I did a poster for Cartoon Network for Adventure Time because I knew they were ending their run. It was coming to the end of the series, so I called a gallery I knew had a contact with Cartoon Network and said, call Cartoon Network, I want to do an Adventure Time poster. So I got to do that. But other times, they'll come to me.
Sure.
It just kind of depends on what it is. But yeah, through the music clients, we work with merchandise companies, and one merchandise company that does not exist anymore because of the pandemic, CID Entertainment. They started real small with small bands, but then as they got to work with larger bands, I got to work with larger bands. So we've worked our way up to, from doing like a one-off poster for, I don't know, Luke Bryant or something to art directing a whole 3 years of tours for Metallica.
That's incredible.
So, yeah, it was amazing. It was great.
Out of all of the bands that you've done, what would you say your favorite 3 posters that you've personally done for bands would be?
I did a poster for the band Pussifer.
Wow.
And they let me draw my cat.
I love it.
So I got to draw my cat wrecking a city. And I have an art print version of that poster now.
Nice.
It doesn't have the band titles and stuff on.
Sure.
I got to do... Okay, so we got to do a whole tour for Weird Al.
Oh, wow.
And they gave... And it was really particular client because they gave us a list of dates with songs and comedy skits. So they're like, on this date, we want to do something from the film UHF. On this date, we want to do Dare to Be Stupid. And that's by far my favorite song of his. So I said, I'm doing Dare to Be Stupid.
Yeah.
So I really like that Dare to Be Stupid poster because
I love it.
It's very influential to a little preteen Tim Doyle.
I mean, I had that cassette and wore it
out,
I mean, my personal favorite Weird Al song that I feel like doesn't get a lot of love, and I've never seen him perform it live. I've seen him a couple of times. Is Nature Trail to Hell.
So good, right?
It's such a great song, and I just used to think like I want to go on the Nature Trail to Hell.
Don't spoil the ending for your friends.
Right, don't spoil the ending. Now, I have been coming to the Armadillo Christmas Bazaar since I moved here 20-something years ago. Do you have memories of coming here before you were selling here?
So I moved here in '99.
Yeah.
And obviously this has been going on for quite a bit, even at that time.
Yeah.
And I never came out to this show. Normally, when I was in my 20s, I was working retail or restaurant jobs.
Sure.
So I couldn't make it to craft fairs because Christmas is go time, right?
Right.
But yeah, after having several art shows around town and going full-time freelance and then showing at other shows like Blue Genie and, smaller craft fairs, like whenever Renegade would come through, Bruce and his team reached out to me and they're like, hey, do you want to come check this out? And I said yes. And, they showed a lot of faith in me to be able to present like not a crazy person. And, I showed some faith in them to be able to deliver the audience of people who want to buy my nerdy stuff. And, it just kind of worked out. And I was looking last night, this is my 12th year at the show, but my 10th show because obviously COVID.
Sure.
But, it's like, I've been doing this for quite a while now.
Yeah. and when Kevin Connor from Sun Radio gave me the list of people to interview this week and said, okay, pick a couple. I saw that it was a double bill of you and Warren Hood, and Warren and I have known each other a long time because we used to do shows together at Momo's. But I've been such a big fan of your work for so long. I was like, I've got to do Tuesday.
Oh, thanks, man.
I also wanted to ask you about something else because you said nerdy, and I feel like you're one of the few, and I'll use the word brand here, just speaking about Nakatomi, that really leans into that and really kind of honors it in a way that's not lame,
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm guessing, knowing that you're a Weird Al fan,
Yeah.
that's just what you were as a kid. That you were that same kid that I was. Listening to Weird Al, watching horror movies on VHS and sci-fi TV, and it just sort of that was who you were as a kid. Is that still who you are today?
Oh yeah, and yeah, it's just been you're soaking in it. Like I've been soaking in it my whole life, right? Marvel comics, video games, Star Wars, and what's cool now that I'm a parent and my kids are 15 and 13, I get to experience all that stuff with them. But also, which is great, is because these properties never die.
Right.
I get to experience some of the content for the first time together with my children.
Aww.
Yeah, like we're watching Skeleton Crew together, and we're like, oh,
isn't it great?
it's so good.
It's so good. I mean, I was so bummed they canceled The Acolyte. I really liked it.
Right.
But this one is really good.
They really nailed it right out of the gate, and it feels like an old school Spielberg film, but with Star Wars.
They're short. They're cliffhangers at each of the. Yeah, it's perfect. We got the old school scroll at the beginning. It was nice.
And I think for me, like, for the dark times, there was like none of this content for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like, oh, you have to imagine it. You got to do your own drawings, make your own comic books, write your own stories.
Sure.
And so, that's kind of where I fell in, like, my love of all that stuff, like exploring these fictional worlds, whether it be like Springfield or the world of Futurama or, what would it be like to be in that? And that's where a lot of the art comes from. A lot of the Star Wars stuff I do, it's like, oh, these are the quiet moments, not the big, huge battle. It's just like, oh, what is it like to live in that world?
Yeah, and that's, I think, one of my favorite things about that new show, by the way, is seeing this completely different take on what life was like on was it Attidan? Attidan, yeah.
Yes.
Like the architecture there, like my husband and I were both like, oh, we want to live in a house that looks like that. So I'm really excited about that. Now, one of the things that I noticed about the Armadillo this year that I had never paid attention to before, since I've been coming in before it opens and I'm kind of hanging out late sometimes, is that you have people in here who are the actual artists who are creating it, but you have to have helpers too.
Yes.
And yesterday I noticed that one of your helpers is a friend of mine who's also a great musician.
She's fantastic.
Yeah, and she's from a musical family.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember when I first met Jen when she was playing bass with Big Bill. Did you ever see Big Bill when she was in it?
I have not.
Okay. Big Bill would not be a great band to book for the Armadillo Christmas Bazaar. They don't have a button or a knob that turns down.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they are a punk band and really fun. And I actually managed them for about a year, around the same time, about a year or two after I met you, probably. But how did you and Jen meet?
This is going to be weird. She was a tenant.
Oh, really?
So I bought a house in East Side in 2006.
Good time to buy a house in Austin.
Good time to buy, yeah. I should not have gotten that loan.
Right.
But they gave it to me anyway.
Sure. Thanks, Mondo.
But, yeah. And then, I had a family, and we had to move into a bigger house. And my brother moved into my old house.
Yeah.
And, I was just renting it to him at, like, okay, this is what the property taxes are every year. As long as you cover that, I don't care.
Yeah.
And so he moved in friends. And my brother, Daniel Francis Doyle, He's a musician here in town.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he plays in Wet Dip right now.
Yeah, okay.
But he was in When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth. And
Oh, man, that was a great band.
yeah, does a lot of solo stuff. So all his friends are musicians.
Sure.
So, Jen moved in there, and, she was great,
Yeah.
And then, asked my brother, hey, do any of your friends need to work, like, seasonal hours at the Armadillo? He's like, oh, my friend Jen will be great. I'm like, oh, I know Jen.
Yeah.
She's awesome. So, yeah,
That's so cool.
did not get to know her through music.
Or art, but
through
commerce.
Very, very small
Thank you,
rent.
capitalism. Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's great because my brother got to live in. He now is a teacher at the Texas School for the Blind.
Oh, wow.
So
I want to talk a moment about posters in general because I feel like I personally, and I want to make sure that everybody understands this very clearly, I personally believe Austin would not have the vibe, the mythology, the draw, any of it would not truly exist without both the musicians and the poster artists. People like Jim Franklin, Guy Juke, Michael Priest, Carry On. As a kid, I collected posters, rock posters, movie posters. My dad worked at a video store, so and then I worked part-time at a theater, and so I would be bringing these posters home all the time.
It's the best, right? You get all the displays. You get all
100%. 100%. I got the cardboard cutouts.
Right.
And obviously, I grew up in Alabama, so I had no idea about all this. But when I moved here and I met some of these poster artists, and I realized that some of the things that I loved about poster art was inspired by them, It really blew my mind. And I personally feel like that, when people when you see like biopics about, musicians and that sort of stuff, I want to see a television series about all of the guys who were doing poster art in the 70s here in Austin, who lived, above the bread company and, I think that would be a fascinating story. When did you realize that you loved to collect things like that?
Oh, man. Well, my grandmother was a hoarder, so I got the gene. And then just, like collecting stuff, comic books, action figures, it's a mess.
Sure.
But, yeah, when I would grab like a poster off a telephone pole every once in a while.
Yeah.
If I like the art, if I like the band, or the rare occasion I like both.
Yeah.
And, I would just hold on to them. And so when I came into Mondo, and it was the idea of making gig posters for movies, essentially, for screenings, I was like, oh, this is it. And so, I just started, every poster we'd make, I'd take a copy home for my personal records. And the one thing I'm a bad collector of is myself. I don't have an archive of my own work. Because if somebody else wants it more, I want to give it to them.
Sure.
Yeah, I get
that.
Because it's like, well, it's mine. I made it. How good could it possibly be? But, it's really good poster art, especially for something that doesn't have a strong visual component, like a rock gig.
Yeah.
Unless you're a band like, Max Sabbath or something where you have amazing costumes.
Yeah.
It can really, sell the idea of the band or the sound, capture somebody's imagination and bring them into the show. There's a couple good poster documentaries out there.
Really?
A lot of them seem to focus on the 90s revival stuff that was started by guys like, Frank Kozik and, locally here in town or in Texas, like Jermaine Rogers.
Sure.
Austin has like a murderer's row of amazing poster artists over the years. Guys like Rob Jones, Todd Slater lives up in Round Rock or Pflugerville, whatever.
Billy Perkins.
What's that? Oh, yeah, Billy is the nicest. We're printing something new for him right now, actually.
I literally just ordered a poster from Billy from the Austin City Limits 50th anniversary taping.
We printed that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's great. He just shipped me poster 420. So
nice. Yeah, he of course he did, Billy.
Yeah.
I started working with him at the Alamo when I was running Mondo. So I've worked with Billy for almost 20 years.
I've been very fortunate in my career as a musician here. I've had a poster done by Billy. I've had one done by Guy Juke. I've had one done by Jim Franklin. I've still not had one done by Tim Doyle.
Well,
We need to do that.
my commissions are open.
Yes.
Just reach out through the website.
Yeah, and that's a good segue, actually. A lot of people who see your art might not realize that they could commission you to do a poster.
Oh, yeah. No, we do a lot of work for bands.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll do something private for, like, a collector.
Sure.
I don't do anything for weddings anymore.
I was just going to say, you probably don't do weddings.
That was a hard-learned lesson.
Oh, no.
That no matter how good, it's never good enough
Right.
for the client because it's got to be their special day.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I can never meet your expectations.
Well, I want to close by asking you what the Armadillo Christmas Bazaar, what do you feel like it really means to you and to the city of Austin? How would you describe it to somebody who had never seen it?
Well, okay, so for me personally, it's like a celebration of the year.
Yeah.
Because, like, oh, look, here's my work. You know, we've made it to the end of the year. I didn't lose my mind. Everything's okay. It's up on the walls. You know, and there's so many returning customers and families that come through that, you know, it's like, oh, I saw you last year. I'm seeing you again. And as somebody who works from home, it's really nice to get face-to-face with the public and people who are appreciative of your work.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it does mean something to somebody. Like, I'm not just screaming into the void of the internet with my art. And it's very humbling, but also weird when fully grown adults will come up and say, I've been buying your work since I was a kid. And then I'll have crumble into dust a little bit more. But, you know, it feels good. It's like, oh, okay, people do recognize my stuff.
Yeah.
It's nice. And as far as what it means to the city, I mean, it's a great collection of artists, you know, many of them local, some out of state. Some used to be local and moved away, but still come back to do this show.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some amazing talent in this room. And you got guys, you know, on the lower, I'm going to self-effacing, but like lower end as far as price point.
Right.
You know, poster, you get a print for $40 to,
Sure.
you know, amazing paintings for thousands of dollars. And there's everything in between. So it's really a great art experience. And just the vibe's nice, like the lights are low. You feel like you're in like a little Christmas village.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you've never been here before, it's definitely worth checking out. Because I do so many other art shows, I talk to many local art buyers and, you know, just collectors, people wanting handmade arts and crafts. Like, oh, have you been to the Armadillo? Like, oh, I haven't checked it out. I'm like, get to the Armadillo. It's so different than any other art show.
It really is. And today was the first time that I was here when they, you know, started to open up the doors and they played the song at the beginning, and I got to hear Ann give a little announcement before, and it's just such a sweet, it's a real family here.
Yes.
Everybody is treated like family, and I've been down here all week, and I feel like I have known these people since I was a kid, you know, and that's a real, to me, that's a real Austin thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, everybody, Tim Doyle, Nakatomi, please check out his booth. It's right over here. And, you know, I cannot say enough good things about the quality of your work, both as an artist and as a printer.
Keep going.
Yeah. But I will have to stop because we are out of time. But thanks again for being part of the Sun Radio session. Thanks for being a part of the Armadillo Christmas Bazaar.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.